One of the big questions that guys have early on in game is how they should open. When you're talking about how to open, they want to know whether they should be direct or they should be indirect, as if it's an either or decision. It really frustrates me when guys get into an argument about whether direct is better or whether indirect is better. At the end of the day, they're both different tools which you can use, and if you're skillful, you'll pick the one that suits you best. All you're doing when you're being direct is asking the girl to make a decision about whether she's going to accept or reject you immediately. All you're doing when you're being indirect is delaying that decision until a later time when you then feel ready to ask her to make that decision. Think of it like this. If you want to offer somebody a cup of tea, you offer them the cup of tea when you are ready for them to make a decision that they want to take it off you. If you don't want to make them a cup of tea yet, you don't offer them the decision. Now, there's a principle in military psychology called the ODA loop. This is a decision-making cycle. ODA stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. This is a process which is followed with every decision. Suppose that you approach a girl, you observe her, so this is a decision relating to approaching a girl. You observe her, you think that she's hot, you see that she's got nice tits and a beautiful ass. She's also got a very pretty face. You orient yourself in relative to that information, so you feel attracted to her and you would like to meet her. So you decide to approach her and you act by walking towards her and engaging her in conversation, and you observe her reaction. Suppose that she sprints away down the street and you observe this. You can orient yourself, you don't want her to get away, but you're worried about getting in trouble with the police for chasing her. You decide, are you going to chase her or are you going to let her go? And then you act. So it's a loop which keeps on going around. I'd suggest in that scenario that you don't chase after her. Now then, when you're thinking about the ODA loop, the girl's got her own ODA loop. So you approach her and she's having her own thoughts and decisions about how she's going to relate to you. If you display your intent, you push her into an ODA loop where she's deciding whether or not she wants to accept or reject you. So what you need to do is decide when you want to display your intent. There's a principle I talk about sometimes of being the agent in your environment. One of the important points about being the agent in your environment is that you're collating, cultivating and synchronising assets to achieve your own objectives. If you're approaching a girl because you want to pull her, it's clear that your objective is to pull the girl. So you should be collating, cultivating and synchronising assets in your environment in order to enable you to do that. That means that if you're going through that process, you should be intelligent about when you're going to make the decision to ask her to make her decision about whether she's going to accept or reject you. It should be something that you retain control over and not something that you're forced into one or the other just because you religiously follow a particular system. It's flexibility of thought which is going to help you solve problems, which is essentially what you're doing when you're trying to get the girl. You need to retain that flexibility of thought so that you can use your problem-solving ability to its greatest extent.